What's up? I'm Dustin, this is Brent. Before we get into it, don't forget, check out our games,
Free
get
trip
into
to
our
Hawaii.
forums, check out all our other rankings. But this video, we're talking about rookie receivers and how we think they're just going a little bit too early this year. And we're just saying, not necessarily steer clear, but make sure they fall far enough in the draft to where it makes sense to draft them.
And a good way to look at this is take a look at last year's receivers. And that was a great rookie class. You had Crabtree, Harvin, Macklin, Nix, Wallace, Knox. It was just good receivers across the board that had very solid rookie years. Now, rookie years doesn't always translate into solid fantasy years, though. It just as a comparison, if you take a look at Percy Harvin, the offensive rookie of the year last year, he had 60 catches, 800 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now, if you compare that to a guy like Nate Burleson, who probably everyone thought wasn't even fantasy relevant, Burleson had 60 catches, about 800 yards, and just a couple less touchdowns. So it really just goes to show you that a great rookie season doesn't necessarily translate into a great fantasy season.
Now let's take a look at this year's class. We got Des Bryant going in about the 8th or 9th round. Demarius Thomas, Golden Tate, Aurelius Ben, Dexter McCutcheon. All those guys going in about the 12th or 13th round. Now we just think that's a little bit too early. There's a lot of other guys with bigger upsides. While they're far from guarantees, we think there's a much better chance of these guys having a better year than the rookies who at best will have just a decent year. And we're talking about guys like Arian Foster, who we actually really like this year, Donald Brown, Tim Hightower, Chad Schillens, Jacoby Jones, Johnny Knox. All these guys are going around similar picks, and we just think they have a much better chance of having a huge fantasy relevant season.
And now a very good barometer for that is to look at third-year wide receivers. That's normally where you see the big breakout. And if you're going to look at rookies, however, you have to go all the way back to Bolden and then before that, old man Randy Moss to find two rookies that had great fantasy years. If you just look at last year, Steve Smith and Sidney Rice, third-year receivers, we all know how they did. They blew up, had great years. It's just a lot better chance for these third-year receivers to do better and break out and have very good years than the rookies.
And we're not saying stay completely clear of these rookies. There's a chance that one of these guys is the next Anquan Bolden. But the odds are against them. Just make sure they're falling far enough in the draft where it makes sense to draft them. So that's it for this week's show. Don't forget, check us out on Twitter. Follow us at Fantasy Advice. We got iTunes going. We got our forums, our rankings, our games on our site.
It's crazy.
Got a lot going on. We can't wait for the season. I'm Dustin. This is Brent. We'll see you next time.